Is it Doctor? Uniform? Dean Boyd.
Good morning. My name is Captain Justin Taylor, and on behalf of Colonel Edwin Chilton, 7th Brigade Commander, Murray State University President Dr. Robert Jackson, Lieutenant Colonel Bernard House, myself, and the Racer ROTC Battalion, I would like to welcome family and friends to the Murray State University Spring of 2023 Commissioning Ceremony. Special welcome to Murray State University Vice President Dudley, the Kentucky Commissioner of Military Affairs, Brigadier General Retired Stephen Bullard, Vice President Don Robertson, and Executive Director, Center for Adult and Regional Education, Daniel A. Lavitt. Today, you will witness 9 Murray State University cadets, Penn Second Lieutenant, receive their oath of office and join the United States Army. Will you please stand for the playing of the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation given by Cadet Israel Ignacio.
Would you bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, thank you for this morning and for this day. God, thank you for this country and the men and women who have sacrificed for our freedom. And as these men and women prepare to become those men and women, I pray that you be over them as leaders as they lead their soldiers. Would you mold them into leaders who are high in character, strong and courageous, who are empathetic and lead by example? Would they be all they can be? Let today be a day of celebration because of the hard work these men and women have put in the past few years to become an officer in the United States Army. Thank you again for them and for what they will do to protect America's future. And I ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please be seated. In 1952, a contract establishing ROTC at Murray State College was signed by Murray State and the Department of the Army. The first classes were held in the fall of 1953, and the first students were commissioned in the Army in 1956. In the early years, ROTC was mandatory for all freshmen and sophomore males. In 1969, the Board of Regents reduced the mandatory requirement from 2 years to 1 year, and in 1972, the mandatory requirement was dropped. During those years, it was common sight in the late afternoon to see hundreds of young men marching around campus in the Army green dress uniforms. Due to downsizing the military, the ROTC program at Murray State closed in 1997. During the 45 years of history of ROTC at Murray State, 1,058 young men and women received their commission as a second lieutenant. Many of these went on to have distinguished military careers, and several died in the service of their country. On December 2nd, 2003, Murray State President F. King Alexander, members of the Kentucky National Guard, U.S. Army Cadet Command, and Western Kentucky University entered into an agreement to offer Army ROTC on the Murray State campus once again in the fall semester of 2004. The ROTC program was staffed with full-time officers and NCOs of the Kentucky Army National Guard. The program once again offered the young men and women of Murray State University the leadership training and opportunity to serve their country as a second lieutenant in the United States Army, the Army Reserve, or the Army National Guard. On May 1st, 2006, Murray State ROTC commissioned its first 2 lieutenants since its closing in 1997. Cadet Jeffrey Newman and Cadet Andreas Shaban were commissioned as second lieutenant in the U.S. Army and began their obligation in the Kentucky Army National Guard. The guest speaker at the time was Major General retired Bobby Brashers, who received his commission as well through Murray State ROTC in 1956. As of 2023, Murray State ROTC continues to shape and commission leaders, scholars, and athletes as competitive U.S. Army officers for international training opportunities and service abroad. Murray State President Robert Jackson and the continuing education program's continued support have enabled the Racer Battalion to continue their proud traditions of leadership while commissioning approximately 2,000 second lieutenants to date. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Bernard House.
That's a first for me. Normally people don't clap when I come onto the stage. It's good. Well, thank y'all. To our distinguished guests, family, and friends, thank you for joining us for today's ceremony. And I want to give a special thanks to the Murray State staff and our cadre here for setting up this great ceremony. I want to call out somebody real quick. Where's Miss Smith at? Stand up, Miss Smith. I know you don't like to be recognized, but so Miss Smith does a great job of putting together mostly all these ceremonies. We just kind of show up and do speeches and stuff. And she just told me this is her 5th year with the ROTC program. So thank you so much for all you do, Ms. Smith. I really appreciate it. So to our families and friends of our soon-to-be second lieutenants, thank you for joining us and thank you for supporting your cadet. To the 9 soon-to-be second lieutenants, words cannot express how proud I am of you. So in this group, we have a George C. Marshall recipient, 2 cadets who earned the title Distinguished Military Graduate, 5 cadets who earned Excellence or Outstanding at Cadet Summer Training, and 2 cadets who earned the Recondo Badge. You have exceeded all my expectations, and I would like to be the first to congratulate you on your well-deserved commissioning as an Army Second Lieutenant. It is time to start your Army journey. Embrace the opportunities that the Army will afford you. Enjoy your time with your soldiers. Lead them, inspire them, be their lieutenant, and never forget you are there to serve them. You will be required to uphold the Army values, demonstrate integrity and honor in all that you do. Those are the standards which Army leaders are held, and I'm confident that you are ready. Graduation and commissioning might be a temporary end to the great and temporary end, but your journey has just begun, so buckle up and enjoy the ride. So my final words to you as cadets is a quote from General of the Army Douglas MacArthur. He said, "A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent." Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause for our commissionees. So it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Brigadier General Stephen P. Bullard, United States Air Force, Air National Guard, retired. Brigadier General Bullard served in the military for 33 years in both the Air National Guard and active duty Air Force. He was appointed by the governor to serve as the Executive Director, Kentucky Commission on Military Affairs, and the Commissioner for the Kentucky State Council for Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission. He works with and advises the governor, the General Assembly, and the Kentucky Congressional Delegation on military matters. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Brigadier General Stephen P. Bullard, United States Air Force, Air National Guard, retired.
Let me see if I can't get my technology going here. But first I want to get to there we go. First I want to thank Murray State University, Dan, Lieutenant Colonel House, and all the veterans and everyone here, the families. So I want to echo what Lieutenant Colonel House just said. This is the beginning of your journey. You've done the hard part. Getting through college is not easy. And it's on you. You did it. And it's opened up a new world to you. So your training's just beginning. It's going to go on and on and on and on and on. It's going to seem like forever for you. And it will be. But you're going to have incredible resources to help you through that part of the journey. And the world that you're going to experience is a remarkable one. I'm Air Force. Kentucky forgives me for that. Fortunately, I speak Army. I was stationed at Fort Bragg for 5.5 years. I work with the Army, and Kentucky's 94% Army in its resources and the DoD dollars that come directly into Kentucky. So I'm very fortunate to have this role, and I love working with the Army. So I do have prepared remarks. Otherwise, I'd stand up here and ramble and tell you war stories. But I really want to focus on leadership and what the opportunities ahead of you are and how you should address them, based on my own lessons learned. So first off, you're preparing to undergo a great adventure. And trust me, it's a great adventure. Service in the United States military. Never lose sight of the honor that this country is bestowing upon you. To be a member of the military is a special privilege. You will see and you'll experience things that everyone else has no opportunity to do. You're going to be placed on a pedestal by your fellow civilians, and you need to earn that. All of us in the military have something in common. We all want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. That's why we do it. This is your opportunity to be part of the greatest military force that's ever been created. We may be great, but we are not perfect. It's your job to make the best of your opportunities and to excel in your career. And you'll excel together as a team. No matter what your role is going to be, and if you make this a career, your role's probably going to change several times. Never forget that you're in a profession of arms. Your profession is unique. Essentially, your job is to either inflict great harm, protect from great harm, or recover from great harm. You may well be exposed to violence one day, it's possible, physical and or mental, and you may well, even more likely, have to deal with people who are victims of that violence. You must be mentally prepared for that possibility. Anyone can find themselves on the front line today, whether you're in Iraq, whether you're in Afghanistan, it could be at a military recruiting center in Tennessee. You just don't know. The military is going to train you extraordinarily well, and they're going to give you tools to develop the resilience you need to handle these situations. However, your personal level of commitment must be willing to accept this challenge. The fact that you've made it this far, as we noted, is a great indicator of that success, and that's why we, the U.S. military, are ready to invest in you and give you this opportunity. Military service is bigger than yourself. You're now part of the world's greatest team. The challenges that await you will range from the mundane to the extraordinary, and be ready to accept and handle both ends of that spectrum, because you're going to get both ends of that spectrum, I guarantee it. Excel in the day-to-day aspects of your role and your training, and you'll be ready when those unique opportunities present themselves to you. While I'm Air Force, and obviously the Air Force has treated me well, I would seriously consider service in any of the military services were I to have the opportunity to start again. In fact, my oldest son's in the Marines, my middle son's in the Air Force. The Army and the Navy, through sheer scale, provide greater opportunities for leadership and advancement. Wars are only won on the ground by an occupying force, and that's unique to the United States Army. The Navy's protection of worldwide sea lanes is essential to both freedom and commerce, and just look at what's happening in the China Seas, where the Chinese are building islands to expand territorial rights. They're limiting freedom of navigation, and they're threatening Taiwan. That's one of the many examples of the games that are constantly played between international actors, and you're now going to be part of that game at ever-changing scales, but you're going to be part of that game. It's a game that's real world in its implications. My Air Force, we can bomb an enemy back to the Stone Age, but history shows that alone doesn't win wars, especially when your enemy already lives in the Stone Age. You may very well find yourselves part of that war against global extremism. Your nation does not expect you to lose. There are things that you need to know as you get started. You must be resilient. I can't stress resiliency enough. And you've just proved you have it. You graduated from college. You will be tested, and you're going to be tested frequently, sometimes harshly. Always remember, whatever happens to you, you're not the first, and you're not going to be the last. Take these tough times in stride. You're going to find plenty of good things in the military to sustain you. Participate. Volunteer. You advance in the military by getting things done and building a record of success. Accept difficult assignments. Look for ways to contribute. When you stumble, and you will stumble because what we're going to offer you isn't easy, get right back up and try again, and we really respect that. Fill your squares. Get your master's degree as early as you possibly can. Complete any and all military training that you can. Remember, you're competing against the best and the brightest, and you'd better be competitive. Make it a priority because your fellow officers, well, they're also your colleagues, and many will be friends for life. But they're your competitors too. This is a friendly competition most of the time, and we'll applaud each other's success. But if you don't compete successfully, you will not advance in the U.S. military. I'm just telling you, it's an up-or-out system. If you didn't have a competitive nature, you wouldn't be here right now. So I think you're well prepared to get going. We have a saying as well that you've heard it, I'm sure, you go as far as your friends go. If you want to know who you are, look at your friends. That's who you are. And it's true. While we're individually competitive, we succeed as a team. If you bring others along with you in your journey, they'll return the favor. Lone wolves, and we do have them, they may experience rapid individual success, but they tend to become isolated and lose influence over time. So always promote that team environment and work tirelessly to improve your team. Everyone benefits from that. And no one teaches us better than the U.S. military. That's what we do. We're the ultimate team. Take care of your people. Listen to your non-commissioned officers. I'm the son of a non-commissioned officer. He reminded me of this all the time. But it's true. They'll make or break you. And I'm sure you've heard of getting fragged on the battlefield. That was a term that came out of Vietnam and other wars, where soldiers could find, let's say, creative ways to get rid of bad officers. It applies to far more than the battlefield. You can get fragged in an office setting as well. Try not to make enemies, but if you do, when you do, because if you do your job and you hold people accountable, you're going to make someone unhappy. Treat them with class and dignity. You never know when you might need that person on your side, and they'll be right there with you. Do everything in your power to understand your leaders and how to make them successful. If you do that, they will usually return the favor. Not always. Don't count on fairness. The world is not a fair place, and the military is not a fair place. Embrace fairness when you can, and overcome it when you don't get it, or you can't practice it yourself. Always remain positive and find ways to succeed. All that said, I really want to focus on resilience, as I've noted before. Everybody would love a career in which they progress, on a steadily rising upward trend, and that's just not the reality for most of us. Most of us are going to be more like a sine wave, up and downs, and you just have to deal with it and work your way through it. In the summer of 2012, I had the honor of being selected out of 50 general officer promotables to attend a pilot training for senior leaders up at Colorado Springs, and it was fascinating. But one of the things they told us there is that the most important factor in anyone's career progression is quite simply luck. It's luck. Everyone has talent. The key is, have you had the good fortune to work for supervisors who have allowed you to succeed, or whose personalities mesh with yours? Have you been able to survive those supervisors or colleagues that you don't see eye to eye with? Were you resilient enough to get through that? Does your timing work with your availability to advance? Luck is truly a critical factor, but there's more to it. Of course there is. There's a terrific book that they acquainted us with. We loved it. It's called by Paul Tough. It's called How Children Succeed. Sounds simple. But he makes this great point that everyone can learn from, whether you're a student, parent, supervisor, or a leader. Success, Mr. Tuff argues in his book, stems from a combination of talent, intelligence, hard work, and luck. Each ingredient is essential to success. You can't always control the elements of talent, intelligence, and luck. They vary. But he argues the key ingredient to success has more to do with a character trait called grit. Grit. Grit is a learned trait. You can develop grit. You already are. You graduated from college. Perseverance, optimism, self-control, and the intent to bounce back from adversity. To develop those essential skills, you simply need to know you need to do it. You have to understand that that's important. You have to give them the emphasis needed. As leaders, we can help nurture grit among others, not just ourselves. But while you need good fortune in your life, luck is also made. Luck is a byproduct of grit. It's made by being ready to walk through the doors that open for you. The key to long-term survival is to do the basics in your profession. Be professional, be qualified, be patient. Can't stress that one enough. Win your little victories, because those little victories eventually add up to a successful career and the chance for senior leadership opportunities. And just to do incredible missions and go incredible places that you would have never dreamed of. We have some great tools to assist us, and Lieutenant Colonel House mentioned the Army core values. Oh, dead on, absolutely dead on. One day in August of 2006, I was walking down the street in Camp Eggers in Kabul, Afghanistan, when a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps walks up to me and he goes, "Sir," I've never seen this guy ever, and he goes, "Sir, I got to tell you how lucky you are to be in the Air Force because of the gift it gave its people." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking?" He goes, "It's the Air Force core values." He says, "Think about it. If you simply make it your priority to do what the Air Force core values tell you to do every single day, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, how can you fail to do what's right?" What a simple, terrific guide to follow. The Army has very similar core values. And that's really what I wanted to pass on to you today as you begin your careers. Use core values as your guide. Be persistent. Have grit. Have grit. Grit will carry you through. Fill your squares of responsibility and answer the door when opportunity knocks. And the last thing I want to do is pass on some lessons learned that I have found very valuable to me, and they actually are true. First off, as you proceed through your career, keep your promises. Keep your promises. Do what you say you're going to do. The vast majority of Inspector General, IG complaints that are filed against officers are due to inaction and the failure to follow up on what you said you were going to do. Do it. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Know the 10% rule. And this is something that is actually quite critical. Its 10% rule is don't institute culture or change in your organization that will upset more than 10% of your balance. You basically, you have to kind of think about it a little bit. But if you go more than 10, you need to always incorporate change, always be incorporating change. But too much change in any bite causes chaos and ineffectiveness. And if you want to be a leader, you can't get buried in complaints. You can't. You'll become ineffective. As a leader, you need to have the humility to understand there's more than one way to get a job done. And your people might be more right than you are. And listen to them. Have that humility. Listen. You must nurture people. People are the difference. People will give you success. Not technology, not secrets, not rules. People. My absolute favorite, because I've seen it so often, and it was really stressed to us as senior leaders doing large organizations. So if you get any type of group of people, there's something called the 20-60-20 rule, and you should be aware of it. So if you're in any organization of a group of people, a large number of people, This will pretty well hold true. 20% of the people in that organization are going to love you because you're the leader. No matter how good you are, no matter how bad you are, no matter how unethical you are, no matter what you do, they're on your side. They're going to let you know they're on your side. They're always going to be there for you, which is bad, actually, because they won't stop you from doing bad things. They're your yes men. They're there. No, they're there. 20% of any organization are going to fight against you and dislike you just because you're the leader. They don't need any other reason. You can go into personality traits that don't mesh, but 20% just aren't going to like you, period. You could give them $1 million bonus, and they're still not going to like you. They'll take it. They don't need a reason. They're just not going to like you. It's that 60% in the middle that are going to make or break you. They're the people. So you need to know those outliers are there, and you deal with them. But it's that 60% that you're really targeting to try to get things done, because they're the ones that are going to make you successful or not. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's focus on positive things. Studies show that if you're not positive, at least 80% of the time, people will react negatively to you. They will not trust you, they will not like you, and they will not be inclined to implement your policies effectively. They'll always be positive. Really work on being positive. That's my God-given personality, and it's gotten me through a lot of bad situations, I can tell you that. So in closing, wow, do I envy you. Becoming a second lieutenant and wearing that butter bar, it's one of my favorite ranks. I was telling a young man earlier, my favorite rank was actually first lieutenant, because as a lieutenant, you're in training. And as a second lieutenant, you're not expected to get anything right. You're given a lot of leeway. And when you become a first lieutenant, you're in this 2-year window where everything you do right is like, wow, this person's really got their act together. They're only a lieutenant and they can do this. It's great. It's a great place to be. And you're expected to just start showing leadership roles. I really love that rank. By the time you're a captain, you're expected to be good. And it can be a little more of a challenge. And I absolutely love that rank, first lieutenant. But just being a young officer in the U.S. military with a world of potential and the opportunity to go. I've been to 77 countries with the U.S. military. I had a unique job, but it was crazy. And the things I got to see and do is just amazing. I could talk for hours. What a great opportunity. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd love it. I would absolutely love it. So I wish you the very best of luck, lieutenants, in the world-class organization, and it is a world-class organization, that is the United States Armed Services. If you're a personality fit for this, this is going to be the greatest adventure of your life. If you're not a personality fit for it, take all the positives you can. You might not make it a career then, but the positives that you get from what you're about to do are going to stay with you forever, and they're going to make you a better person. They're going to give you a better life. So use this opportunity to make the greatest life you possibly can. Congratulations. Enjoy serving the greatest nation on earth. Thank you very much.
The United States Army Medical Service Corps was formally designated to engage in supporting and administering the provision of medical assistance to soldiers and their families and to civilians in emergency situations. The focus of the Medical Service Corps is on matters such as logistics and supply, support and administration, and the provision of services like lab testing, pharmacy, and environmental science, and of medical specialties such as psychology and optometry. The Medical Service branch insignia consists of a gold color metal caduceus, 1 inch in height. The insignia for Medical Service Corps is silver. In 1851, a caduceus embroidered in yellow silk on a half chevron of emerald green silk was worn by hospital stewards of the medical department. The caduceus in its present form was approved in 1902. Rooted in mythology, the caduceus, historically an emblem of physicians, symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, promptness, and various aspects of medical skill. Cadet Adebayo Tunde Adetunji was born in Nigeria. He is the son of Professor Emeritus Michael Tunde Adetunji. Cadet Etanji is graduating with a Master of Business Administration in Health Administration and a Master's in Public Administration. Cadet Etanji is the recipient of the George C. Marshall Leadership Award and is Murray State University Distinguished Military Graduate. The bar pinning is an opportunity for family members and loved ones to participate directly in the commissioning ceremony. Not only does the act signify the first time an individual wears the rank of an officer, but it acknowledges those people that helped the cadet earn the commission. It honors and signifies the love and support provided to the new lieutenant. By pinning the new gold bars onto your loved one's uniform, you also represent the many others that helped develop an officer of character. At this time, Cadet Etanji's wife and children, Salient, Axel, and Andrew, Uncle Dr. Ade Adetunji, and wife Kemi Adetunji, will pin Cadet Adetunji as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Medical Service Corps. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Adetunji with his certificate of commission. The silver dollar salute is an honored tradition. A brand new second lieutenant proudly hands a shiny silver dollar to the first enlisted soldier who salutes him or her. Congress authorized this on April 2nd, 1792. Silver dollar traditionally is the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. The coin represents more than just a dollar in currency. To every new officer, it has special significance. It represents a symbolic receipt of respect due the newly earned rank and position. It signifies a deep sense of gratitude from the new officer for the knowledge that enlisted soldiers, especially NCOs, have passed on to them during training. It is acknowledgement from one professional soldier to another that says, "Welcome to our service and to the profession of arms." Second Lieutenant Adetunji's silver dollar first salutes his friend Terrence Gatson. Master Sergeant Ken Afaji will receive the salute on his behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Adeteyo Tunde Adetunji.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. I'd like to say thanks to my family. You guys have been my rock. Thank you for the persistence, even when I want to quit. You guys have been more pushing me. Doing 22 masters with 2 kids and wonderful wife wasn't being easy, but they've been my rock and my support. Thank you for everyone there that make the travel. Thank you for the cadre. Thanks so much for all your guidance. Highly appreciate it. My fellow cadets, thanks so much for your help. Thanks for pushing me through all the CSA training, all the training we went through. And everyone present here, thanks so much for all your invitation. Thanks so much for coming. And also, a very thank you to the Callaway Fire Department for allowing me into their fold. Thank you so much for the support and thank you for training. And also, I'd like to thank my Westside family, Westside Baptist Church. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you, Lord, for the prayer, for your presence and for us of coming. And also, I'd like to thank my neighbor, our quick treat, for coming over. Thank you for your help. I really appreciate that, your guidance and everything. I also like to thank the most important person in the world, Jesus Christ, for salvation of my soul, and so also for prayer and everything. Thanks so much. Thanks to once again for coming. Thank you.
George Washington appointed the first engineer officers of the Army on June 16, 1775 during the American Revolution, and engineers have served in combat in all subsequent American wars. The Army established the Corps of Engineers as a separate permanent branch on March 16, 1802, and gave the engineers responsibility for founding and operating the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. The engineer branch insignia consists of a gold-colored triple-turreted castle. The triple-turreted castle has been in use by the Corps of Engineers since it was adopted in 1840. Prior to that time, an insignia of similar design was worn on the uniforms of the Corps of Cadets of the United States Military Academy, since the Academy was under the supervision and direction of the Chief of Engineers. Selection of the turreted castle as the engineer insignia followed the first major construction undertaken by the Corps of Engineers, the building of a system of castle-like fortifications to protect the harbors along the Atlantic coast. These fortifications, many of which are still standing, were in fact called castles. By 1924, the insignia had evolved into its current design and color. Cadet John Duvall was born in Marion, Kentucky. He's the son of Larry and Tammy Duvall. Cadet John Duvall is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Agribusiness and a minor in Military Science. At this time, Cadet Duvall's father will pin Cadet Duvall as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Engineer Branch.
Public deflect is quite effective.
Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Duvall with a certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Duvall's silver dollar first salute is to Master Sergeant Ken Avaji. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant John Duvall.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out today, this fine, beautiful day. Appreciate all my teammates and everyone that's pushed me along the way, my family and friends. Just want to thank everyone and for this opportunity, for allowing me to be a member of the team, and grateful to serve and grateful to be here. Appreciate it.
Cadet Jenny Mercer was born in London, Kentucky. She's the daughter of Julian Campbell Mercer. She has an older sister, Natalie, and a younger brother, Joseph. Cadet Mercer is graduating with a Bachelor of Integrated Studies and a minor in biology. At this time, Cadet Mercer's mother, Julie, and brother, Joseph, will pin Cadet Mercer as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Engineer Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Mercer with her certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Mercer's silver dollar first salutes her mentor, retired Sergeant First Class James Warnock. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jenny Mercer.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank everyone for being here to support myself and my classmates. I know everyone here is important to all of us, and you guys mean the world to us for your support and love. Most importantly, I want to thank my family and my friends for coming out here today, and everyone watching online as well. Thank you for your unwavering love and support of me. I wouldn't be up here without you guys. Then I have a few individuals specifically I want to thank. I want to thank my silver dollar salute, Sarge. He inspired me back in high school to pursue this career and believed in my ability to achieve this. So Sarge, thank you so much. It means the world for you to be here today to me. And I would also like to thank Miss Smith for being the loving and smiling face of our program and for standing up for us when we needed it most. So thank you, Miss Smith, for everything you've done for us. Then I would also like to thank our cadre, especially Major Burgess. He's not here today, but he has had the most direct influence over us at Murray State. So thank you, sir, for everything you've done for us. And last but not least, I want to thank everyone in this program still, as well as my classmates. I could not have asked for better people to have spent my time with. I could not have asked for better friends. And you guys truly are my brothers and sisters in arms, and I will always be here to love and support you guys in your careers as well. So thank you all for everything that you've done for me.
The Cyber Corps is the newest branch of the United States Army. The U.S. Army describes it as a maneuver branch with a mission to conduct defensive and offensive cyberspace operations. Cyber is the only branch designed to directly engage threats within the cyberspace domain. It was established on 1 September 2014 by then Secretary of the Army, John M. McHugh. The Cyber branch's insignia centers on a dagger that signifies readiness to prevent global cyber incidences. Over 2 crossed lightning bolts to symbolize the origin of the branch in the intelligence, security, and communications disciplines. Cadet Luke Gagnon was born in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He's the son of Daniel and Amy Gagnon. He has 6 sisters and 6 brothers. Cadet Gagnon is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and a minor in Military Science. At this time, Cadet Gagnon's father, mother, and brother Levi will pin Cadet Gagnon as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Cyber Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Gagnon with his certificate of commission. And Second Lieutenant Gagnon's silver dollar first salutes is to Cadet Sawyer Towery. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Luke Gagnon.
So, firstly, I'd like to thank all of the sidewalks on campus for keeping us off the streets, especially during those early PT runs in the rain when the cars were and people were going to 8 a.m. class. It wasn't cool. And then secondly, I'd like to thank everybody that's here today, my friends, my family, people that I don't know. I recognize you too, cool. And just thank you guys for supporting me and being there, and especially these crazy people here who are with me on those early PT mornings, supporting me and figuratively and literally carrying me all the way back and to where we are now. Thank you guys so much.
The U.S. Army Field Artillery Branch traces its origins to 17 November 1775, when the Continental Congress unanimously elected Henry Knox colonel of the Regiment of Artillery. The regiment formally entered service on 1 January 1776. During the 19th century, a total of 7 artillery regiments were formed, which contained a mixture of heavy artillery companies and light artillery batteries. The light artillery batteries took a role of field artillery, although they did not use that designation. The 7 artillery regiments were designated as regiments of artillery and were not distinguished as being either coast or field artillery, as was the practice in the 20th century. Field artillery is called the king of battle. The field artillery branch insignia consists of 2 crossed field guns, gold color metal. Cross cannons for artillery have been in continuous use since 1834, when they were placed on regimental colors, knapsacks, and as part of the cap insignia from artillery officers. In 1901, the artillery was divided into the coast and field artillery, and the branch insignia was modified by the addition of a plain scarlet oval at the intersection of the cannons. The Field Artillery insignia, approved on 17 July 1902, had a gold wheel on a red oval, and the Coastal Artillery had a gold projectile on a red oval. This red oval and wheel was replaced on 4 April 1907 by 2 field guns. It was superseded in 1957 by the Consolidated Army Artillery insignia, consisting of the cross field guns surmounted by a missile. In 1968, when the Air Defense Artillery and the Field Artillery were authorized to have separate insignia, the former Field Artillery insignia was reinstated. Cadet Thomas Good was born in New Bern, Indiana. He is the son of Kevin and Rebecca. He has one brother, Ryan. Cadet Good is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. At this time, Cadet Good's father, Kevin, and mother, Rebecca, will pin Cadet Good as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Field Artillery Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Good with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Good's silver dollar first salute is to Marine Corporal Ian Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Thomas Good.
Thank you all for being here. 5 years ago, I stepped onto this campus not knowing that ROTC was even offered here. And frankly, I don't think I could have told you what ROTC stood for. But 5 years later, I walk off the campus as a new lieutenant, and I have so many people to thank. First, to my cadre, your constant wisdom, expertise, and mentorship is what has helped me get here, and now I can step into my first role as a lieutenant with confidence. So I thank you for that foundation that you have given me. To my fellow peers who stand on the stage with me here today, I'm so grateful to have shared in the journey with you all. I showed up as the quiet kid, but you guys took me in, showed me the ropes, and now you've helped develop me not only as a future officer, but also as a human being. So I'd like to thank you all for that. To the younger cadets in the program, believe it or not, this day is coming a lot faster than you might think. So I would encourage you to embrace your time here. There's no other time in your life like college, so embrace the process, prepare yourself for this moment, and I have nothing but confidence in your future success. And then last but certainly not least, my gratitude extends to my family. I think the pollen count's pretty high today. That's why it's messing up my eyes. You are the foundation of my success, and I'm so grateful to have you. And I hope today can serve as a token of my gratitude to you. Thank you all.
The Adjutant General Corps is a branch of the United States Army first established in 1775. This branch provides personnel service support by manning the force, providing human resources services, coordinating personnel support, Army band operations, and recruiting retention. The objective of the Adjutant General Corps is to maximize operational effectiveness of the total force by anticipating, manning, and sustaining military operations. HR support operations accomplishes by building, generating, and sustaining the force, providing combatant commanders the required forces for missions and supporting leaders and soldiers at all levels. The Adjutant General branch insignia consists of a silver metal and enamel shield, 1 inch in height, on which are 13 vertical stripes, 7 silver and 6 red, on a blue chief, 1 large, and 12 small silver stars. The basic design, the shield from the coat of arms of the United States, was adopted in 1872 as a solid shield of silver bearing 13 stars. In 1924, this design was authorized to be made into gold metal bearing 13 stars, with the colors red, white, and blue in enamel. In December 1964, the insignia was changed to silver base metal with silver stars and silver and red enamel stripes. Cadet William James Longworth IV was born in San Diego, California. He is the son of William Longworth III and Wendy Longworth. He has 3 siblings, a brother Carter and 2 sisters, June and Madeline. Cadet Longworth is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology with a minor in Military Science. At this time, Cadet Longworth's father, William, and mother, Wendy, will pin Cadet Longworth as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Adjutant General Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Longworth with his certificate of commission. And Second Lieutenant Longworth's silver dollar first salutes his father, Marine Sergeant William Longworth III. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant William James Longworth IV.
Can everyone hear me? All right. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank everyone for coming out and supporting myself and my classmates. First, I'd like to thank my family and my girlfriend, Maddie, for always supporting me behind the scenes and for reminding me of all the little weird things that I do, like that one time I didn't get all the land nav points freshman year. And Jenny, if you could tell my dad that it wasn't our fault, I'd appreciate it. Second, I would like to thank the underclassmen for giving me a chance to mentor you guys. I have absolutely loved doing it, and thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do so. Third, I'd like to thank my cadre, to include Mr. Howe, Mr. Patterson, and Ms. Smith, for instilling in me the qualities of a good human and an excellent leader. I'd like to thank you all for that as well. And I'd really like to thank my class for being just the best people that I could have been around. I wouldn't have done it without you guys. So, thank you.
Cadet Katie Simpson was born in Henderson, Kentucky. She is the daughter of Gus, Ruth Ann Simpson, and Tammy. She has one sister, Julie, and three brothers, Preston, Andrew, and Grayson, as well as four children, Brianna, Jonah, Tristan, and Jackson. Cadet Simpson is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Pre-Veterinary Medicine and a minor in Military Science. At this time, Cadet Simpson's father, Gus, second mother, Ruth Ann, will pin Cadet Simpson as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Adjutant General Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Simpson with her certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Simpson's silver dollar first salute is for her husband, Staff Sergeant David Troutman. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Katie Simpson.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I want to start by saying I think all of my classmates know that this has not been an easy 4 years for me in the slightest. I see a lot of head nods. But I definitely want to thank you all for supporting me and always understanding my situation and pushing me through no matter what my circumstances were. It truly means the world to me because up until this point, I was the shy kid as well, and I didn't really have too many friends, but now I have a family and you all, and I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank my family for all the support that they've given me. I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it without them. To my husband, your guidance to me has been unwavering. You have never failed me, and you have always supported me through everything, and I could not be more thankful for that. To my kids, you see how stubborn me and your father are in our military careers and how absolute perseverance and resiliency has taken us this far. I know that no matter what you do, and we don't care what you do, whatever you want to do in your life, do it with all your heart, and we are backing you 100% of the way, that you can do anything. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you.
The U.S. Army Chaplain School was approved on 9 February 1918. Its first session began on 3 March 1918 at Fort Monroe, Virginia. Chaplain Major Aldred A. Pruden, who developed the plan for the school, was named the first commandant of the school. The United States Army Chaplain Corps consists of ordained clergy of multiple faiths, who are commissioned Army officers serving as military chaplains, as well as enlisted soldiers who serve as their assistants. Their purpose is to offer religious church services, counseling, and moral support to the armed forces, whether in peacetime or at war. The chaplain candidate branch insignia consists of the lower corners of an open book, 2 laurel branches crossed at the stems, overall a shepherd's crook, all gold. The book represents regulations, while the laurel sprays symbolize the honors received in the administration of military regulations. The shepherd's crook represents the spiritual nature of the regulations. Cadet Colin Sissom was born in Nashville, Tennessee. He is the son of Thomas Sissom and Kristen Hall. He has a brother, Logan Sissom, and is engaged to his fiancée, Leah Harley. Cadet Sissom is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Organizational Communication and a minor in Military Science. At this time, Cadet Sissom's mother, Chris Hall, and fiancée, Leah Harley, will pin Cadet Sissom as Second Lieutenant into the United States Army Chaplain Corps. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House now present Second Lieutenant Sissom with his certificate of commission. And Second Lieutenant Sissom's silver dollar first salute is to Master Sergeant Ken Afaji. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Colin Sissom.
Just want to start by acknowledging that it's a tremendous honor to be stepping into this role, not just as an Army officer, but as an Army chaplain. It's an honor that I'd like to thank several of the people that have made this possible. Starting off with our guests today, many who have poured into me over the past couple years, and it's an honor to be celebrating today with you and the rest of the commissionees. I want to start by thanking the cadets in our program, specifically the cadets that have gone before us, that have mentored all of us and encouraged me along the way. The fellow cadets that are in our class, you guys have been a tremendous source of encouragement, and you guys have been an example that I like to follow, and it's been an honor to serve with you and lead with you. And then also, the cadets who have yet to take this step. If it wasn't for you guys and allowing us to learn how to be leaders, we wouldn't be here today, and without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So I look forward to one day getting to hear about you taking this next step as well, so thank you. Lastly, I'd like to thank the cadre for their mentorship and guidance over the past couple years, and my family, specifically my fiancée Leah, for coming alongside me and agreeing to join me in this journey, both of my parents who have instilled in me the values to become the man that I am today, and without you guys it wouldn't be possible. And so lastly, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and it's the example of him that I'd like to follow, him giving himself up for me, that I pray that myself and all the future leaders that we give ourselves up as servant leaders for our soldiers. And so without him and without God, it would not be possible. Thank you.
The Armored Branch of the United States Army was created provisionally in 1940 as Armored Force under the Chief of Armed Forces, Brigadier General Adna R. Chaffee, Jr., and took control of all tank units and infantry and cavalry units. Even though the armor branch traces its lineage back to the original cavalry units in its first beginnings date from the First World War. The United States Tank Corps was established in 1918, but then split back into the infantry and cavalry in 1921. The armor branch insignia consists of the front view of a U.S. M26 Pershing tank superimposed on 2 crossed swords, replacing the World War II color insignia with the Army Reorganization Act of 1950, Section 404, Army Bulletin 9, in which the current armor insignia became authorized to wear in February of 1951. Cadet Caleb Walden was born in Normal, Illinois. He is the son of Chad and Stephanie Walden. He has one sister, Michaela Walden. Cadet Walden is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice and a minor in Military Science. Cadet Walden is a Murray State University Distinguished Military Graduate. At this time, Cadet Walden's father, Chad, mother Stephanie, and fiancée Caitlin will pin him as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Armor Branch. Brigadier General Bullard and Lieutenant Colonel House will now present Second Lieutenant Walden with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Walden's Silver Dollar First Salute is to Sergeant Joe Kilgore, retired. Master Sergeant Etanji will accept the salute on behalf of Sergeant Kilgore. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Caleb Walden.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming out to honor this important day for all of us. It's been a long day coming, and we're really appreciative that you showed up to support us. I would like to take a second to recognize all the people that made it possible for me to stand here today. But first, I'd like to thank God, because without him, none of this would be possible. Mom, Dad, Michaela, thank you for raising me to be the man I am today, and for giving me the strong foundation that my success rests on. Caitlin, thank you for being there for me for all those late nights of gear layouts and afternoon crashes after we got back from the field. I want to thank my peers. Even though I showed up a year late, you guys have been there with me through it all, rain or shine. You've always been there to pick up my spirits and remind me that I'm not doing this alone. Lastly, I'd like to thank my cadre for allowing me to fail, but always making sure I learned from my mistakes. Many mistakes. I want to acknowledge that I do not take this responsibility lightly, and that I will be a good steward of everything you've put inside me. Without you, I wouldn't be here today, or be the man I am today. Thank you all.
Will everyone please stand as the Army's newest second lieutenants receive their oath of office from Lieutenant Colonel House. The oath of office is an important ceremonial gesture signifying the start of one's military officer career. Importantly, it makes a public commitment to the duties, responsibilities, and obligations associated with their new position. It serves as a reminder that they do not swear allegiance to a senior, agency, or other appointee, but an oath to support and defend the U.S. Constitution and faithfully execute their duties.
I, Caleb Walden,
Having been appointed an officer
in
the Army of the United States
the Army of the United States,
and the grade of second lieutenant,
and the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
that
that I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that
I bear true faith
I bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservations
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and faithfully
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Mercer will now present Brigadier General Bullard with a token of appreciation from the cadets, cadre, and staff of the Racer Battalion.
Thank you so much. What an emblem. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Good luck, all of you. Thanks, sir.
And ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the Army song, which you will find printed in your program.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. When the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high day, the army's on its way. Down off the cane is loud and strong. So wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Murray State University Racer ROTC Battalion, I thank you for attending. Please file upon the stage and congratulate the Army's newest second lieutenants. And please join the new second lieutenants outside the auditorium for a cake cutting ceremony. Thank you.